Hi,
I'm Mrs. Midlane and I'm the class teacher in 1M.
and I'm Mrs. Holbrow, and I am the new class teacher in 1H. So, this is just our introduction to us and how year one might look a little bit different to reception. We are working very closely together this year to ensure that there's consistency across both classes, and we are really looking forward to getting to know your children and get them loving their learning at Wheatfield. So just a little bit to start with, our PPA, so our preparation time and PE sessions. So our PPA is on a Tuesday afternoon, but the children will be either doing music or PSHE, and this will be changed every couple of terms. And that will be with Mrs. Pedley, and they will also be having their PE Shine coaches, which they absolutely love already and know, so they are really enjoying that. We will also be doing a PE session on a Wednesday, so they need to wear their PE kits into school on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. If we can just ensure that all long hair is tied back and that there is no jewellery to be worn on those days, that would be fantastic. And also, just with reading, please ensure that their reading books records do come in every day. We will be catching them when we've got spare minutes to read with the children, and it would just be really useful if they had all their stuff ready to go. Lunches, I think the majority are doing amazing at remembering to book your lunches online, but this is just a little gentle reminder. It's all done electronically now. So if you could continue to do that, that's amazing. And also just continue to encourage the children to eat with knives and forks. It just really helps at lunchtime and gets them out to play quicker.
So maths in year one is a little bit different to maths in reception, but we do start off the same and recap on what we did before. But the main difference is we do a lot on place value, and we move beyond 10, moving up to numbers to 20, and then going beyond that to 100. It's about a big focus now about writing their numerals to make sure they're written the right way and there aren't any reversals. We do touch on writing it in words as well. And then continuing on, as we did at the end of reception, counting in 2s, 5s and 10s. So they also add and subtract one digit to a 2-digit number. So it could be adding 5 to 13 and making sure that they understand 0 is a placeholder and the value of 0. We also do addition and subtraction through word problems and one-step problems, and then applying it to number bonds to 10. So knowing there which two numbers make 10 and then which two numbers make 20. We move on to multiplication and division as well, but this isn't as you would remember of multiplication sums. So they do it all very practically. So they use objects and pictures and arrays to be able to multiply and divide. They use pictures, and then they do it in one-step problems. So we'll give them a problem and then they will try and solve it practically. And then fractions, the same as all very practical, finding halves and quarters of shapes, objects or quantities. So this is the approach that we use in year one. It's very similar to reception, but it just goes on to that next step. So we start with the concrete. So that is using objects to be able to solve our number sentences. Then we move on to pictorial, where the children draw this out for their own benefit. And then we move on to the abstract, which is what we call a number sentence, which is what you used to call a sum. We just call it a number sentence now. So it goes through objects, pictures, into the actual abstract of this number sentence. So maths planets, again, we did this in reception, but it's very different in year one. Year one follows on what they do in the rest of the school. So maths planets will take place on a Friday, and everyone will begin on level 1A. It's just a quick 5-10 minutes we give them on a Friday morning that they will sit down and have a go at the quiz. There is on the website an overview, so you know the math planets that's going on and the steps they need to take. If your child gets stuck on a level or doesn't pass for a few weeks, we can send home an example paper for you so you can work with them at home, but we won't obviously send you the exact one, because otherwise, as you know, children just learn the answers and learn where to put them. They don't actually know the skill. So if you need any help with this, just let us know, but we'll start that in week 3. We're going to start it. So not quite yet, but really, really soon. Other ways you can help, exactly the same again as in reception. So when you're at the shop and you've got some money, encourage your child to count the money out or think about what change they're going to have. talk about the time with them, not just about 12 o'clock, but also what's happening tomorrow, what happened yesterday, days of the week, months of the year. It's lunchtime now. And practice taking it in turns to say a number, singing songs, reciting numbers, all really, really good practice.
So English in year 1. So every week, your children will receive one reading book that's going to match their phonics sound that they are covering that week. And this will change on a Monday. So we're going to be changing their reading books on a Monday. And then their library session is on a Wednesday. So they'll be changing their library books on a Wednesday. And we will also be continuing with the word boxes and keywords that they had in reception and moving them onto the year 1 ones. And these will be checked and changed on a Friday. These can be handed in to the class teacher on the door in the morning at any point in the week, and we will just test them throughout the week, see how they're getting on, and then give them the new ones on the Friday. We are also continuing with Bug Club this year, so children will receive a certificate or sticker every time that they read 10 times at home. Once they have reached their 50, they will receive a book from the head teacher. Children can read anything to get these 10 now. So they can read their keywords, their word boxes, their library book, their reading book, or a book that they've got at home that they're loving reading with you. We're trying to get that love of reading, you know, that pleasure for reading, and making sure that their comprehension is amazing, but they can get that for anything. But they can only have a maximum of 7 a week. So we're going to be meeting the reading objectives, which you can see on the screen, but it's about covering a wide range of stories, both fiction and non-fiction, and finding out new meanings of words and learning all the rest of their phonics, and using these phonics skills to be able to read books. And our main thing that we're going to be pushing this year is comprehension. So your children may be on a book or a colour for a little while, but that's just because we are trying to really get them to comprehend what they are reading, what happened before, what happened after, how do they think this story might end, how do you think the character's feeling, really getting them to understand that story. If we keep moving them on to meet their phonics, but they're really struggling with their comprehension, sometimes they lose that love and passion for reading. So that is something that we're really going to be pushing this year.
So writing in year 1, we will write across a range of genres. We'll not just write stories, we'll look at writing instructions, recounts, poetry, information text and letters. And we really try and make it purposeful for the children. So there's actually a reason for their writing. We might write a letter to Mr. Winterburn to ask for something. There's always a purpose behind it. And then we're really encouraging the children to use the resources in the classroom to help them be that bit more independent in their writing. We're actually using Write Stuff this year, and the biggest stuff with Write Stuff is we are so used to starting our English with reading the story to the children and then we pick it apart once we've read it. With Write Stuff, we don't actually read the story until the very end. So when you see stories on the website and we say this is a story we're doing this term, we'd really appreciate it if you then didn't read the story at home. It's usually brilliant when you do that, but at the moment we'd like you to not read the story at home, just because some of it's a bit different for the children and we only introduce the plot points in stages and we don't necessarily want them to copy exactly what the story says. So it's just using the pictures as a stimulus rather than actually using the story, but then we all do read the story at the end. The main thing we're focusing on at the moment is our letter formation, using phonics to help us with our spelling and the spelling of our camera words as well, and capital letters and full stops. So other objectives we're concentrating on is using and to join sentences together and using it and in a list. Present and past tense accurately. That's something you can really help with at home. If they say a sentence is not necessarily correct to them, but just repeat the sentence back to them with the correct tense. As I said, using capital letters and full stops accurately. And at the end of the year, they begin to use question marks and exclamation marks.
So we will be sending home weekly phonics homework in the next couple of weeks, when we've got a really, really good idea of how the children are grasping and getting on with their phonics. So they will get this in their home learning book, and there'll be a label in in the book to tell you what we'd like you to focus on that week. Due to lockdown, we are recapping some of the sounds that were taught just to ensure that they have really got them cemented in their brains. So the home learning books are to be handed in on a Thursday, please, and then we will be able to stick in the new home learning for the following week and hand them back out on the Friday. We will continue to be using Tapestry. We'll be mainly using these in the afternoon to document their wider curriculum. However, just to let you know, we do not use it as much as EYFS. So there won't be as many posts, but we will try and get as many as possible.
So the wider curriculum, here at WeFeel, we understand how important the wider curriculum is and how much learning we can apply through that. So we just make sure that all of our planning is giving the children as much of a rich, real and relevant opportunity and hands-on learning experiences, wow moments for them as possible, as we find they get so much better learning from those topics. So all of our subjects have a lovely new logo, like the science ones you can see on the screen. And we use these across the whole school from down here all the way up to year 6. So the children really get to understand them and understand what science skills are, what geography skills are. So these are our overviews that we have. So we make sure that we understand what vocabulary we're talking and what the children are going to be learning by the end of the topic. And this is just to make sure that we've got that consistency across the year group, but also that we're not reteaching something in year 2 that's been taught in year 1.
Our website has been updated, so please do have a look at the year 1 page on there. You'll be able to find some really useful information and resources. We will be updating it termly to let you know what our new story might be in using the Right Stuff model, but also the year 1 common exception words, phase 3 sounds, maths planets overview, and eventually spelling shed will also be on there too. And finally, volunteers. We are now allowed volunteers back into school, which is really, really, really exciting. If you could spare even an hour or two, an afternoon or a morning, please come and speak to us and we can get this sorted and started and get you to have an induction. It's really useful for us and it means that we can give you stuff, number one, that you are really interested in doing, but also that the children love just having that extra adult to show off to and show their new skills. So they absolutely love it. Please could we ensure that all clothes are named? We've already had quite a lot left with no names in them, and it makes it really hard to find the correct owner. So it'd be really useful if you could make sure that your children have their names in everything. Please could you let us know if someone is picking them up that doesn't usually. Just let us know in the morning and we can just write it down, because otherwise we are going to be having to ring you to check if we're allowed to hand your child over to somebody else. So it would be really, really, really important if you could just let us know in the morning. That'd be fantastic. And if you have any questions, please come and grab us at the beginning or the end of the day, or send an email into the office and they can forward it on to us. And yeah, that would be amazing. But if you've got any questions, do let us know.
Thanks for your support as well so far, for helping us both settle back into year 1. It's been brilliant so far and we're just hoping for a really, really good year.
Definitely. Take care.
Bye.